Hello, my name's Flipper, and, well, this is not my garage. And this isn't even the beater S10. We're in a big truck, and that's because after 2 years, today's the day. We are finally hauling the late model. We're taking Gloria to the M40 Speedway, Russell's M40 Speedway. It is a fast 3/8 mile racetrack located just next to Three Rivers, Michigan. I raced there before with the truck series and little half-scale mini cup cars. Really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun with this car. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm terrified. I'm nervous as all get. And I'm going to tell you why. This car took me 2 years to build. And it is assembled entirely out of used parts and enthusiasm. What could possibly go wrong?
As it turns out, everything. We have arrived. Russell's M40 Speedway, down by Three Rivers, Michigan. Pull into the pits here. So the first thoughts pulling in here, seeing all the semi-trailers and stackers and stuff, is this is kind of a David versus Goliath thing, and I'm gonna need a bigger stone.
Car's going around, but hopefully you can hear me. Just turned our first laps and Outlaw Super Late Model. I'm exhausted, but car felt stable, slow but stable. Speed there, just got to work on it. And the car's getting back up to speed. We'll update more later. So situation update. First practice, and get down in here. See all that shiny that goes all the way back through there? That's oil. I believe it's either coming from right down in there, these guys are loud, the oil gasket there, or it's coming from the fuel pump there. So I'm not sure. We're gonna have to dive into that. Also, that brand new fan that I just put on, mounts broke right off it. Awesome. So we found our oil leak. This is the plate between the engine block and the fuel pump. This piece right here, well, that's still on the engine block. This piece right there, that is MIA. And what that's doing is, as the oil pools up in here, it's just running right on out and making a big old mess of the car. Well, I've got another one of these. The problem is the flip side, where your fuel pump bolts on here, I do not have one of these. I have to do some thinking. Maybe I can use RTV, or maybe there's someone's got some parts I can use. While we were trying to figure out the oil issue on the front of the car, my wife Amanda, well, she must have got bored, decided she was going to try to crawl in the car. Now, unfortunately for her, any racer will tell you, getting in the car is the easy part. Getting out is a whole other story. Fortunately for us, I grabbed my camera.
I feel like it broke something too.
Rotate. Squeeze, slide. If you do it wrong, you go head first in the concrete. Am I helping? So while we were chasing down oil leaks on the front end of the car, I learned that in order to start the feature, and at this point we didn't know how much oil had leaked out of the car, and it's not like a normal passenger car where I got a dipstick I can just use, or this oil pan honestly doesn't even have a fill plug. It's just you add 6 quarts and you've got 6 quarts in it.
So I didn't really want to run the full 100 lap feature. It's just going to look to turn a few laps and pull in. But in order to do that, I had to first qualify. I couldn't start the feature if I didn't qualify. So we started thrashing on the car, and it came down to the wire. Figured out the oil leak. Got that plugged. Got in line. Qualified dead last, which was, it was to be expected. Never even touched the setup on the car, never even got laps fast enough to figure out what the car was doing. And on top of that, I had completely wrong gear in the back end. I was turning about 4,700, 4,800 RPMs. This thing needs to get up into that 6,000 to 6,500 RPM range. So yeah, we were way off. Didn't matter. More nonetheless, just shaking the car down. Pulled out on the track for on-track driver introductions, and the track's banked, right? So everything will slide to the left. While on the track, the fuel cell, the one that we've pressure tested and gone through and through and through, apparently, when all that fuel sloshed to the left, which is the opposite of what it would slosh when it races, found a leak. Yeah, not good. So we pushed it down onto a flat part of the track. The leak stopped. We weren't sure. Maybe it was overflowed and overfilled it, and it kind of made a mess. So talked to track safety, talked to the series director. They're going to let me run a couple laps, start and park. Appreciate that, because that allows me to collect start money to put towards this turd to get it back on the track the next race. On my hat on, but that's okay. So, fuel cell leaking. I really don't even know where to start. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna pop the top and hope it's something simple. Look for a smoking gun. Maybe it's leaking out of a seal around the top. Really would hate to have to replace this thing after we just spent a bunch of money on a brand new steel can for it. I don't know. I don't know. We pressurized it. It didn't leak then. But as soon as we got on the track and the car leaned to the left with a full cell, and it ran out. Jacked it up in the pits to the left, ran out. So I'm just at a loss. But we'll figure it out. So let's start tearing into it. Let's see what we got. This way. There we go. And great. That looks like a hole. That is a hole. There is a hole in my fuel cell. It's like a drill hole, which, we focus. Come on. Hey, there we go. There's no drills on the top of that. So there it is. This is the new to me gently used fuel cell for the race car. Actually, this is what the start money went towards.
I looked up a new bladder for the fuel cell I had in the car. Just the rubber bits on the inside, the rubber, none of this hardware up here, the steel can, any of that. A new bladder for the cell we had was going to cost me $1,100. Holy cow. So we got this. This will get us back on track. I might have a temporary fix for the old fuel cell. Found some aviation bladder repair stuff. I can patch it up. It'll get me by for a race until I get some framework and stuff built up for this guy or gal. Well, now that we got a game plan on what to do with the back of the car, we got to pay attention to the front. You remember this came off in practice, very first practice, and I got to get my cooling fan put back on. So you see the stainless steel hardware there. I made up these little aluminum strap guys, and they're countersunk here and there. That way they can bolt right up to the fan, and then I can bolt the straps right to the radiator, solid mount. Hopefully, this won't come off again. As you can see, we got the fan bolted on. That should hold in place nicely now. And while we were working on that, I noticed the radiator here had actually shifted to the right side of the car, which means we were actually cornering fast enough that the radiator slid on its mounts towards the right. So that's kind of cool. Other than that also means the radiator was going to slide into the mounting brackets and puncture it. So we put a stop to that. Literally, that is a stop. One of the things I did notice at M40 is the car felt like it was rolling over onto the right rear. This is the spring we had on there. It is a 250-pound spring. We had one spring rubber in it already. I threw a second spring rubber in underneath it, kind of like so. Made it a lot better. So I got the old spring guesstimator 2000 out. You guys might have seen that on the last video. That's how I rated my bump springs. This spring has actually already professionally been tested. So that's my test mule. I'll dial in my whole contraption-y rig thing here to that spring. Then I know we're going to be good on these springs. And so I did tests with that, and then I came up with this guy. We're going to go to a 320-pound right rear spring. That's going to keep the car from just kind of laying over on that rear end. It kind of looked like a dog sitting down, you know, it does that Labrador lean to it. Try to eliminate some of that. Hopefully this will help the car corner a little better. Again, we barely even got up to speed, so any issue that I did notice is sure to be aggravated once we actually do try to rip off a lap. Well, you know, I picked the hottest day of the season to do this, so that's fine. You know, I'm already on my second t-shirt of the day, about to be my third. I don't know what the temperature is, but man, it's hot and it's thick. It's like being on the set of Good Morning Vietnam. It's unreal. The humidity level is it's up there. In fact, let me show you. Let me share my panic with you, actually. Well, we got the car up on the jack stands there, and I immediately see this and immediately start to panic. Thankfully, that panic's kind of short-lived, because if I look all the way down, this is not all leaking. It is so humid that this thing is actually sweating. My car is perspiring. That's how hot it is. All right, since we are on the topic of under the car and leaking and stuff, and we are under the car, see, there's the crank and stuff. This is a coolant hose. There's the alternator that you seen me install on the last video. Well, so we're at the front of the engine. This bolt right here, that was a pain. You see, that bolt goes all the way through to the push rod for the fuel pump right back in here. I did not know that went all the way through. I thought it was just an accessory hole, kind of like this one way down here that you probably can't see in the video. So I didn't have anything in it. That was one of our leaks, in addition to the gasket down here at the bottom of this plate. So had to jam a bolt in there quick at the track. We're going to take this one out, put a shorter bolt in so I don't have to have this little lock nut on here. Coat that bolt with some RTV just to make sure nothing gets past. And that should be good to go. And other than a gear change, I do believe we will be ready. So I'm doing this, you're probably wondering, how was I able to determine how much oil I had in this? Well, I did it the hard way. I drained it all out, measured it, and put it back in. And yeah, I lost about half a quart. So I'd probably been okay running it, but the fuel cell had other issues or other ideas. Good morning. It is Friday, July 3rd. What was supposed to be Pace Day. You see, I have a buddy of mine owns the National Compact Touring Series, and he has a race today at the Kalamazoo Speedway called America Night. That seemed like the perfect fit for, this thing. Yeah, never mind. The garage looks like a bomb went off in here. It's been a rough couple of weeks. So I threw some emergency lighting on the car. And we were going to run this as a pace car out there. But just got the word. Unfortunately, they canceled. We do have quite a bit of inclement weather. It's going to get nasty later. It's thunderstorms and stuff coming in later tonight. However, tomorrow, July 4th, is the Spirit of 76. Berlin Raceway, Reveal the Hammer, Outlaw Super Late Models. It's ready. I gotta change the rear gear now. We're gonna make sure we get that dialed in a lot closer than what we had at M40. But the car is ready. We just gotta load, and I should probably clean the shop. So not a whole lot left to do on this car, so do appreciate you folks tuning in. We're gonna have the next video out here shortly. That's gonna be that Berlin race. 10. Our goal is 10 laps in the feature this time. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Until next time, my name's Slipper. Thank you.